Now we have Judge Judy and Marty looking over this court case. Holy shit. I'm tired as fuck.
You led me straight to the fall. I'm broken, I'm still trying skin and bone.
Welcome back, everybody. Now, in the recent months, there's been one YouTube drama that I really even wouldn't consider a drama that's kind of been overshadowing a lot of what's happening. And I never covered it just because I've been waiting for the full thing to kind of come to a close. And that is Ruby Frank's court case. For those of you who don't know anything about this, basically, she was a YouTuber who ran a family-based YouTube channel, and she got arrested for child abuse. Kind of opposite of what she, was all about on YouTube. But it was always surprising to me because once I found out who she was, her videos literally have explained like abusive behavior she's done. Like, I don't know if some of these are all in a video, but they have definitely came out since then. But in like some videos, he would talk about like, oh, she didn't feed one of her kids as her punishment, took away their bed. And then it all, like, it's not surprising, but it all came to a close when one of the kids was tied up, escaped, and, talked to the neighbor, and she got arrested. Along with one of her friends' business partner things, they both got arrested, and she recently pled guilty, so we can finally, just get an overall gist of what has happened, what has came out since the case has closed. And yeah, it was better once talking about she pled guilty, because I know someone out there is going to be like, well, in addition to proving guilty, even though I think this is one of the few court cases that it seems like everyone was like in a mutual agreement what has happened. But like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and let's get into this little video I found.
Now, Franke was the Utah mom of 6 who started a popular YouTube channel known as 8 Passengers back in 2015. Tons of videos about the family's lives, their parenting techniques, their activities. She ended up partnering with a licensed mental health counselor named Jody Hildebrandt in a life skills coaching organization known as Connections that was really run by Jody Hildebrandt.
And but all those people who, got some life advice are very happy now, seeing the two people they got stuck with. Oh my god, imagine, you're feeling better by yourself, say this advice worked, and, some part of your life is improving. And you sat there, just drinking a cup of coffee, you turn on the news, and you see the people who gave you the advice got arrested for child abuse. It would be actually worse if they gave advice of how to take care of children. I think she did on her channel, but holy shit.
And then in August of 2023, both women were arrested after police found Franke's 2 malnourished, abused children at Hildebrandt's residence. Recently, both women pled guilty to 4 counts of aggravated child abuse. We learned that the kids were forced to work outside in the summer heat. They sustained blisters and burns.
Was that the house? It looked like they would have no neighbors besides, a wild coyote in the mountain. How far did that kid go? Holy shit, I hope that's not the house. But I never knew about the making them work thing. What did they do? Like, for that long period of time? Did they even get sunblock to begin with? Because I'm just thinking in my head, it's like, how long, they must have been working, for the sunblock to wear off. But I'm doubting they even got it to begin with. Like, not to put or add words to this court case, but it fucking wouldn't surprise me.
One of those children was severely bound, ended up having all these injuries from being tied up. Both the kids were not provided adequate food and water, and in more extreme examples, Franke admitted to kicking her 12-year-old son Russell with boots and holding his head underwater, and Hildebrandt forced Eve, Franke's 9-year-old daughter, to jump into a cactus.
What the fuck? What? That's not even like harsh punishment like type of shit. That's just insane. It's one thing, and it's bad. this is bad to make them like, do yard work or whatever type of work in the summer in the blistering heat with, whatever amount of sunblock, whatever amount of food that was not enough. And like, why? What the fuck? Why make them jump into a cactus and hold their head? God. I'm so glad they got arrested.
I mean, we're talking horrible, horrible stuff. Both women are set to be sentenced in February 20th to be exact, and each charge carries 1 to 15 years in prison. And based on their plea agreements, these sentences will run consecutively, meaning one after the other.
So it looks like we might get one update video for this. We'll talk about the pleas and, I'll give my opinions on if that's worth it. But they must have gotten like a pretty bad plea deal for that to be the case of what they're looking up against. For like one, sentencing after another, no sort of agreement, it seems like, with less charges, unless I'm mistaken. I mean, I'm not really surprised they didn't really need to give them any sort of plea deal. It was pretty set in stone, so I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even get a plea deal.
Let's talk about the new development. In a filing from Randy Kester, who is representing Ruby's estranged husband, Kevin, he actually filed for divorce after Ruby's arrest, he is demanding restitution from Jodi Hildebrandt. In other words, he wants her to literally pay. For what? For the effects of what she did, namely the medical costs. The document says, quote,
"You can't even argue that he's just looking for money. He mainly wants just the medical bills for these children, which I'm sure is high, to be paid for. I don't know what took him so long to file for divorce. I'm not sure if they are doing some sort of investigation to him. I hope they did at least a little bit, because that would make sense. But I mean, with the court cases, only going to a plea deal, we have no idea, if there's any evidence with that or not, because there was no, them talking in the courtroom. But I would have to assume it doesn't seem like they're going after the father. But we also have this quote from the court filing. "The children have undergone medical care and have been subjected to psychological assessments and ongoing mental health treatment in an attempt to assist them in comprehending and recovering from these injuries." I mean, yeah, they're probably gonna need it, especially now knowing that their mother, the one who's supposed to be taking care of them, is arrested. It wouldn't really surprise me, that they're gonna need some help. And I fully agree that both of them really should be paying, not just the one. But who knows, maybe they're both gonna be fired differently, or maybe she's included and it just doesn't sound like that from the description. And we have another quote with the long gist of it being that if you're wondering where the kids are, and this is the main reason why I'm talking about it, the kids are still in professional care. So it doesn't even sound like they're in the care of the father. That just shows just how much damage has been done. And I don't mean to say it, the way I'm saying it. It just blows my mind. If these two were still together, fully together, and he didn't notice, up until now, I can't imagine. They must have been, kind of separated leading up to this.
None of this should be surprising, because on top of all of the physical abuse that I laid out, and there is a lot more, let's not forget what the plea agreement also says, that the kids were forced to repent, that they were evil, that this punishment was being done for their own good. Can you imagine what that's like for two young children to experience that and try to recover from that? In fact, I remember when I interviewed Jessie Hildebrandt, Jodi's niece, who also claims that she was the victim of severe emotional and psychological and physical abuse at the hands of Jodi Hildebrandt.
So we could possibly be seeing another court case in the future between, that girl, the niece, and the mom or friend, on top of these court cases that we're about to hear the sentencing to, and now this, court filing, which I hope goes through. because that sounds neat, but man, I can't imagine having your mom kick you in the face, purposely putting on like some big ass boot, and just being like, remember, this is your fault. You deserve it. Because, man, that definitely would do so much damage. I know I've said it a few times in this video. I can't believe this has not been caught sooner. Because this is horrendous. And like the amount of abuse can't even just be listed in just like one small thing, because it's just that much. This is insane.
I mean, it took me, I'm still in therapy every week for it. There's no, and again, it was almost 15 years ago, and I'm still daily, like, I mean, through this experience for months, there's been a tremendous amount of healing on my end, which just goes to show how important accountability is for the victims.
Right.
But no, I mean, this doesn't, the invisibility of harm almost, it makes it even worse, because you know, if those kids didn't have those horrifying physical marks on their bodies, would this ever have been intervened?
Man, that's unfortunately probably true, because I mean, if they didn't go through that window that day with the marks on them, would this all have ever happened? Would we have even gotten to this point? That's just sickening to think about, because this has been going on for years. We have, this girl talking about it. I think they might have had more kids or like other people who stayed with them, because I do think they went on their Instagram stories when, the arrest happened, and was talking about like, yeah, finally, something's going done. So I don't know if, it at least sounds like there's more people and so many more victims who has, not just experienced this abuse, but has been waiting for the arrest, and hopefully has been trying to get someone to, help out. And it's very unfortunate it took this long for all these people to get the help, because I mean, just hearing this girl talk about it, like, this part of like the arrest and seeing justice finally happen is like significantly helped with the healing, and that could have been done years ago, and some of this abuse could have been, stopped years ago.
Now, the way that we understand it is that the state is paying for all of these expenses because the kids are in state custody. So they're paying for this treatment. But Kevin is actively seeking full custody of these kids, and if successful, which in this court filing suggests that the custody issue could be resolved by September of 2024, eventually he will have to be responsible for these costs. The filing states, quote,
okay, so this is making it sound like they are probably going to do some sort of investigation, speaking that they're not going to give immediate custody as soon as their medical stuff is done. So that is at least a good sign that they hopefully are going to do some investigating further and, not just hand over these kids right away. Thank God.
Randy Kester, when we interviewed him here on Long Crime, has said that Jody was the driving influence behind Kevin's separation from Ruby, that she, Jody Hildebrand, is responsible.
During the separation, Kevin was attending men's groups that were facilitated by Jody, and during those groups, he was being downgraded and diminished, and told how bad he was, and that he needed to repent, and that the best way to repent was to not infect his family with his problems, and so that's why you need to stay away.
Oh my God, this guy had to go through the program too. And it really sounds like this program might have inspired a lot more abuse to like a bunch of other people from how they, because it sounds like the same thing that she was saying to her kids, and the lady, friend lady, business partner lady, whatever, has said to, Ruby's kids. And it really, I hope they investigate the business and the people that they gave, classes to, and hope to God that none of them have gotten advice to abuse more people. Oh my god. The rest of the video just explains how the lady has a bunch of money and where she can pay for the restitutions, while also explaining that the guy and the court filings thinks that she is gonna try to get rid of her restitutions, sign them over, ways to pay the restitutions, and that they need to act fast. While on top of all of that, the courts need to figure that out. They probably won't do that until after the court case and, sentencing is over, because the sentencing can include the restitutions. And also, I did see in the video, I'm 90% sure that lady does not own the business, someone else does, and she's not being charged with any crimes. So there is a good chance that the, overall message at least did not include the abuse part, but it at least sounded very demeaning, and hopefully all the clients went elsewhere. This court case is insane. I know. Man, we'll get an update soon. Hopefully they go to jail for a very long time. So that'll be a short video coming up. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Hopefully they go away for a long time. Have a good night.
I'm done with hitting your wall. Short notice, I just gotta let you know.
Or, kind of sad.
You led me straight to the fall. I'm broken, I'm still trying, skin and bone.